The World's Strongest Man competition has been an integral part of the Christmas TV schedule for the last 30 years. The shows have provided dramatic victories, extraordinary displays of strength, and every so often, some eye-wateringly painful injuries.
Oh my goodness!
That would probably broken his arm.
The current holder of the title is 31-year-old Pole, Mariusz Pudzianowski, one of the most successful strongmen in history.
Absolute delight for Pudzianowski. Well, he doesn't speak very good English, but I think we all understand that.
You knew right away this guy's going to be good because he was so big, he was so explosive and so powerful.
There's nobody that's even come close to stepping up to his intensity, his strength, his durability.
There's no weakness, there's no chink in his armour at all.
Lift.
Every event's a good event for him.
Good lift.
He's really fast, extremely strong, and probably the most efficient strongman that ever have been.
Mariusz Pudzianowski is literally the greatest of all time.
Pudzianowski's first appearance in the competition was back in 2000 in Sun City, South Africa. Before then, he was a keen amateur boxer who was encouraged into weightlifting by his father, a successful Olympic lifter in his own right. Having established himself as a World's Strongest Man legend, Pudzianowski is now a celebrity in his own country, and his fame has impacted heavily on his fortune. He now owns a property development company and a chain of supermarkets. All this, though, hasn't affected his hunger for competition.
He's done it! He's won the event!
Pudzianowski may be considered the best ever, but he is just one of a whole host of strongmen who have graced the competition over the last 3 decades. The first 3 contests between 1977 and 79 took place at Universal Studios in California and featured only athletes from the United States. A varied collection of football players, powerlifters and bodybuilders were assembled, as well as one guy that you really didn't want to make angry. Lou Ferrigno, aka the Incredible Hulk.
As it so happens, I have the bar that was bent by Lou Ferrigno in the very first event that we had, and it hangs in my office even now, and it's kind of shaped like this, and you can see where he's bent it, and every time I see that bar of Lou Ferrigno's on my wall, I have a little tug.
The early competitions were all American affairs, and the first 2 winners of the title were Olympic lifter Bruce Wilhelm in 1977 and 78, and powerlifter Don Reinhold in 1979.
I know you trained hard for it all year long. You deserve it. In my book, you're the strongest man in the world.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
The competition, though, was limited in international representation. At this point, neither champion could really claim to be the true world's strongest man. But waiting in the wings was a man who would go on to lay a legitimate claim to the title.
Just beneath that outer layer of warmth and fuzziness, there's this boiling rage. There's this beast of a man.
Damn it! Kazmaier angry.
1 second to the last bit.
The Kaz is an icon. He's an icon in the sport.
So strong that he may just be able to press the weight overhead.
Bill Kazmaier made his WSM debut in 1979. The 26-year-old Kaz, as he was affectionately known, was the world powerlifting champion, had an intimidating 23-stone frame, and was to become one of the most intense competitors ever.
I knew he was a little bit different than just the basic weightlifter out of a gym. And to me, you know, on a pound-for-pound level, at that time, he was probably the strongest man in the world.
Bunnies pop up from behind every tree, lurk around every corner. This is the Playboy Resort, you see, and surrounded by these Playboy bunnies, I'm here to witness the contest for the world's strongest man. And helping me out, a very special playmate, Henry Cooper.
Do you think they suit me, Derek?
The venue certainly suited Kazmaier, as he won his first title in 1980.
And Sue.
My focus was on the event and the event only. As a matter of fact, in the squat lift, they put a clear plexiglass floor for the bunnies to sit on. Now, you may not believe this, but I never looked up. My focus was keen on the weight, and I won the event.
And it's 10 points to Kazmaier.
Kazmaier remains involved in the competition 2 decades after his last appearance as a competitor. As co-presenter of the American version of the show, broadcast in the States by ESPN, he works closely with veteran sports commentator Todd Harris.
Kaz is fantastic. You know, people ask me, is he that scary? Is he that big? Is he that mean? Because when he gets into the voiceover booth or he gets to the competition, he really gets into it. And, you know, the voice goes down a few octaves and he's, Todd, let me tell you what, and he's all fired up. But he really is what I would call a gentle giant. I wouldn't want to compete against him. I wouldn't want to meet him in a dark alley, but I certainly wouldn't want to compete against him.
Thickness of the bar now 15/16 of an inch.
Scary and very strong, undeniably. But even the self-titled strongest man ever was brought down to earth by an iron bar on his way to winning the second title in 1981.
And listen to Kazmaier. Apparently they have suffered some type of muscle pull. Let's hope it's not too severe.
Yeah, the tendon slipped right out of the groove in the shoulder. He's already put the tendon back in, and if we can get the deltoid to settle down, it tore a little bit when the tendon popped out. We'll be okay for the squat and the deadlift.
Okay. Piper in the yellow lane, Waddington in the blue.
The reigning champion was becoming increasingly irritated by the PA announcer's description of opponent Dave Waddington, the man with the strongest legs in the world, apparently. As Kazmaier stood under the bar, eyes bulging and holding a weight of 440 kilos, he was determined to set the record straight.
Legs, right here. You decide.
And so the chef.
Kazmaier's domination of his opponents was complete as he strolled to his second title. He had equalled Bruce Wilhelm's record, but there was little doubt that the man from Alabama would go on to eclipse his countrymen and fulfill his claim to be the strongest man who ever lived.
I'm Mike Anthony saying thanks.
At the 1982 World's Strongest Man contest, Bill Kazmaier was set to become the first man to take the title for a third time, and few were betting against the American.
There's power.
Especially those who knew the lengths to which Kaz would go to win a contest. Any contest.
Can you imagine being a beginning lifter, having a hard time putting food on your table and eating 500 grams of protein a day? And all of a sudden they have a contest at a pet store, a grand opening, for eating goldfish, and the prize is $300. And that'll pay your rent for a month. Well, needless to say, I bellied up and bowed up, went up against some kids 8, 10, 12 years old. One of them ate 15 goldfish. There was a young man at 14, he probably ate 100. Well, I ate 1,000 goldfish, and I took home the prize of $300.
Kazmaier's win-at-all-costs mentality was all too evident in 1982. In the final round, the sumo wrestling, the champion was carrying a severe injury.
No one knew going into that event of wrestling, I couldn't even walk. So what I did was slap myself in the face, got absolutely berserk, and went into the ring against John Gamble. He was so scared by the facial expressions I was making, he ran out of the ring.
Kazmaier was indisputably the strongest man in the world. The first to win the contest 3 times, he had raised the bar for those who followed.
Bill Kazmaier believed that he was the world's strongest man. He ate it, lived it, slept it, dreamed it, breathed it. Bill Kazmaier probably was the strongest, or is one of the strongest guys ever.
But there would be no 4th title for the American in 1983. For the first time, the competition moved away from the United States and travelled south to Christchurch, New Zealand. Kazmaier did not travel with it.
And he's bellowing like the bull of Bashan.
That left the door open for a new champion. Jeff Capes was Commonwealth shot put champion in 1974 and 76, and now coaches the next generation of British field athletes. But he is best known for his exploits in the world's strongest man.